Good afternoon, everyone. I'm going to give it another minute or so for people to potentially join before we get started. Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us today. My name is Stacy Paisno. I'm a lead project manager with the South Florida Water Management District's Water Supply Bureau. And today we're going to be talking about the Cooperative Funding Program. This is the first of two informational webinars that we'll be hosting. This webinar is being recorded, and a link to our YouTube channel will be posted on our CFP website. Upon completion of the presentation, I'll have further instructions on providing any comments and or questions. So overview. So we're going to get right into our FY27 program. So Governor DeSantis signed Executive Order 2306, which is Achieving Even More Now for Florida's Environment, which requests recurring annual funding for alternative water supply development. The governor and the legislature have recognized the importance of these projects and protection of Florida's natural systems and have allocated $335 million statewide during the past 7 legislative sessions. The governor has currently requested $60 million in his fiscal year 27 budget. As part of this program, DEP requests that the 5 water management districts provide a prioritized list of projects by the end of May every year for funding consideration. On our website, you will find the FY27 program guidelines, the AWS and water conservation applications that are in Excel format, as well as an acknowledgement form in Word format. And then we have multiple PDFs of examples for both AWS and water conservation. So in anticipation, so for the acknowledgement form, what I want to make sure of is this is a Word format that needs to be PDF'd and signed by someone who has signature authority. So that would be an HOA treasurer, a utilities director, a mayor, a county commissioner, city commissioner, something along those lines. That is a required form that must be uploaded into the online submission portal along with your Excel format, either AWS application or water conservation application. So in anticipation of the FY27 funds that the governor has requested, the district released an application on December 1st of last year. As previously mentioned, today is the first of 2 informational webinars. The second one will be held at 9:30 on January 28th. It's going to be the exact same material that we're covering today. The application will close at exactly 4 p.m. on Wednesday, February 26th. Please do not wait until 3:58, 3:59 to attempt to upload your application into the portal. It will close automatically at 4 o'clock. After the portal closes, there is an internal review process for the applications that were received between March and April. And at the May 14th governing board meeting, we'll be presenting the prioritized list for approval and ultimate submission to DEP prior to May 31st. Questions I get a lot are, who can apply? So any public or private entity, such as a local government, tribe, golf course. If you're on the list, you can probably apply for our funding program, and we highly encourage it. To be eligible, you must adhere to all application instructions, laws, and regulations. Local governments must also have an approved irrigation ordinance that comports with the district's year-round irrigation rule, as well as a approved water supply facilities work plan per state statute to be eligible for funding considerations. The last two that I just mentioned only apply to local governments. They do not apply to any private entities such as an HOA. Two user groups that are not eligible is if you are an individual homeowner who wants to retrofit your irrigation system. Unfortunately, this program is not applicable to your situation. If you are a permittee that is out of compliance with either a district or a DEP issued permit, typically makes you ineligible for funding consideration. This is a reimbursement program. No one is guaranteed to receive up to 50% funding. Applicants are responsible to move forward with a project with or without district or state funding. The anticipated dates that are in our guidelines are October 1st, 2026 through September 30th, 2028. Those dates are subject to change based on legislative appropriations and agreements between DEP and the district. We have provided a start date for applicants to determine if they should apply for the program or not. Any allowable costs have to be used for the project that you've identified within your application. And it has to be a construction or implementation cost that occurs on or after October 1st, 2026, which is the start of fiscal year 27 for the district. Some non-allowable costs include any expense that is incurred before or after the funding period, pilot programs, permitting, design, engineering, anything that's considered routine operations and maintenance. Again, if you're out of permit compliance, education program, and in-kind services. We do have two project types under this cooperative funding program. The first is alternative water supplies, which is increasing water supplies to the development of non-traditional water sources and or storage. And water conservation is any project that uses a hardware or technology to improve water use efficiency. And Abel Cruz will be discussing this more further in this presentation. So as part of the DEP AWS guidance document, they've requested that the districts provide that prioritized list based on some of the following considerations. Does it provide regional benefits? Is it benefiting an MFL water body? Additional benefits such as flood control, water quality. Projects need to be shovel ready and have undergone a cost benefit analysis. Historically, the governing board priorities have considered applicants must be within the district boundaries or provide a direct benefit to our district. The project should be AWS or water conservation only. It needs to be a construction or implementation. Again, no O&M, design, engineering, or permitting. Projects should support the district's mission and or an approved water supply plan. We do base projects consideration on resource. My apologies. We do look at prioritizing projects based on resource considerations such as a restricted allocation area. And again, local governments must have that approved irrigation ordinance and approved water supply facilities work plans. Next, we're going to move into discussion on the eligible costs for water supply projects. What's included in our AWS portion of the cooperative funding program? It's any project that increases water supply through the development of non-traditional water sources. Those can include storage of those sources as well. Most of these non-traditional sources include brackish, saltwater, reclaimed, excess surface or stormwater, or any other source designated as non-traditional in a water supply plan. However, O&M projects are not supported even if it's for a non-traditional source. District reviews every year are considerations of additional guidelines for AWS projects, such as, is it supporting the goals and objectives of those water supply plans? How it's reducing dependence on our traditional sources. Is it a project that supports ocean outfall legislation? And will the project's contribution be in a resource limited area? Those considerations, along with the ones from DEP have outlined, provide the guidance for potential project funding. To maintain plan goals and objectives, water supply plans contain suggested measures such as the following: developing those AWS sources where possible, construct storage for reclaimed water, additional reclaimed water distribution mains, surface water storage systems for agricultural operations, aquifer storage and recovery, and reverse osmosis, brackish water supply wells, as well as facilities. And within CFWI, to continue brackish sources as well as further expansion of the reclaimed water. As previously stated, we only cover the construction costs for AWS projects, but not all water supply construction projects are considered AWS. Those allowable costs can include transmission mains for brackish or saltwater sources, so the raw water transmission mains, reclaimed water storage tanks, booster pump stations, and those transmission mains. Reverse osmosis facilities, including the trains, pumps, surface and stormwater storage of excess rainfall, any ASR, brackish water production wells, or concentrate disposal wells. Some non-allowable costs again include no design, permitting, as-built, videos, early completion bonuses, or O&M. If you're doing any finished water storage tanks or finished water transmission distribution lines, in-user service connections, any backup generators, and no landscaping or protective coverings. This time I'll turn it over to Abel Cruz, who will review some highlights of our water conservation side of the program.
Thank you, Stacy. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Abel Cruz, and I'll be presenting on the water conservation component of the cooperative funding program. The conservation component seeks to support projects that improve water use efficiency and conservation. Water conservation projects can target an individual property, a business, a farmer or nursery, or a utilities water conservation infrastructures. These projects can be in the form of a rebate program for residents and businesses managed by a sponsoring entity, such as a utility, a local government agency, or even non-governmental organizations like HOAs, condo associations, and commercial entities. For context, some examples of projects that have been funded in the past are high-efficiency indoor fixtures or appliances retrofits, automatic flushing devices, irrigation retrofits or rebates, agricultural or nursery irrigation efficiency improvements, and commercial or industrial projects like cooling tower retrofits. In summary, projects that use hardware or technology to increase water use efficiency are eligible for consideration. Here we have a list of some of the elements that are considered during the review process. Water source being conserved, quantity of water saved, quality and detail of project application, and is it a project that has environmental benefits and benefits the community? One key consideration for eligibility is the cost effectiveness per 1,000 gallons of water. To be considered, conservation projects should demonstrate a cost effectiveness of $6 or less per 1,000 gallons of water. The biggest categories of water conservation projects are urban and agricultural. The first category, urban conservation projects, can be divided into indoor and outdoor projects and usually target devices and systems in existing properties. Some examples of indoor conservation would be upgrading or retrofitting indoor fixtures and water-using appliances to be more water efficient. Examples of outdoor conservation projects can include items that would help conserve water, such as irrigation controllers, sensors, spray bodies, and system audits. Water conservation projects and new constructions will be considered if the builder is working towards a Florida Water Star certification. If you're interested in learning more about Florida Water Star, please visit their website at floridawaterstar.com. Some additional examples for urban conservation projects are the installation of submeters, advanced meter analytics software, and online customer portals directly related to water conservation. Please note that the district is open to consider other types of technology or hardware that improves water use efficiency not referenced here, and utilities are also encouraged to consider projects that will improve the efficiency of their operations. Applicants should be aware that some projects are not eligible for funding. For example, indoor fixtures for new constructions, unless it's part of a Florida Water Star certification program, automatic meter reading infrastructure or hardware like antennas, relays, meters, or decoders. Waterless urinals, projects that target practices considered operations and maintenance. Installation of new irrigation systems or extensions of existing irrigation systems, and replacement landscaping. The second category we'll discuss is agricultural and nursery operations. These can also be divided into two groups. The first group includes projects that convert irrigation systems into more efficient ones. An example of this would be taking a flood irrigation system and converting it into an overhead irrigation system. The other group includes projects that help improve irrigation management equipment. Examples of this would be installing weather stations, wireless telemetry, or soil moisture probes. Some additional examples of agricultural projects are replacing sprinkler heads with more efficient ones, pump system automation, flow meters if part of an irrigation efficiency improvement project, and variable frequency drive retrofits on existing pumps or wells. Please note that other technology or hardware not listed here could be considered if it improves water use efficiency. Lastly, here we can see some examples for agricultural projects that would not be eligible for funding. In general, projects that seek to install new irrigation systems or extend existing systems are not eligible. Either are coverts or water control structures, replacing old emitters with new ones of the same efficiency or flow rating, new pumps and filters, fertilization or disinfection hardware, freeze protection materials, and construction of tailwater ponds or reservoirs. Essentially, this covers the basics for the water conservation component of the cooperative funding program, but potential applicants are strongly encouraged to review the program guidelines to be sure their projects meet all applicable standards and requirements. Thank you, and with that, I'm going to turn the presentation back over to Stacy so she can present on the program's website.
Thank you very much. So I'm going to do a quick overview of our landing page. So once you go to navigate to our page, if you go to sfwmd.gov and you go to doing business with us and you scroll down to grants and funding opportunities, you'll come to the cooperative funding overview and then details on the FY27 application period. You'll find our application schedule. So today is the first of the webinars. That link will be converted from a registration link to the link to our YouTube recording from today. Again, we have our next one on January 28th. Reminder that the application portal will close at exactly 4 p.m. on Wednesday, February 26th. Please do not wait until the last minute to upload your application. This is up to 50% funding. And then when you have downloaded your application and completed everything as well as your acknowledgement form, you would click at the bottom of this screen. You'll see right now it has the online submission portal. You will click that link when you're ready. So right below the online submission portal is the list of documents for you to download. If you haven't taken a look at the FY27 Cooperative Funding Program guidelines for this year, there were some small tweaks. I will point out that we did do some modifications to some of the water conservation sections based on feedback from entities. So we did reevaluate that. Again, when you download your applications, they must be uploaded as Excel documents. Do not PDF them. The Word file for your acknowledgement form must be uploaded as a signed PDF. Then we have our example applications. So once you're done and you actually click the online submission portal, it's going to open up a new window that looks like this that's on your screen. So one of the things that I would like to request is if you are filling out the application on behalf of someone, that you provide a email address as well as a phone number, or a phone number that goes directly to the person that I need to contact in the application. Also in the application, if you put a direct phone number, a direct email, instead of a generic, say it's info@xyz.com, I can't ask questions if I'm going to a generic email address or if I'm going to a generic phone number, and that will delay review of your application if there are questions or concerns. The lat-long section is required. You won't be able to advance and submit your request without filling out a lat-long. So if you don't know your lat-long in decimal degrees, you're going to be able to click here and enter the address, and it will populate decimal degrees for both your lat-long for your particular project. You will need to click one of these little radio dials that say AWS or water conservation. You can upload up to 5 individual files. You'll have to add them individually. So you would upload your application, and then you'll add another file to upload your acknowledgement form. You may include other documents that you see fit that you would like the reviewers to have. And then when you're ready, you will submit your request. Sometimes a CAPTCHA pops up for you to verify that you're not a robot. It doesn't happen every time I tried it, but usually. And at this time, we're at the conclusion of our presentation. Would like to open it up for any questions or comments that you may have. If you are participating via Zoom, please use the raise hand feature. And if you're participating via phone, please use *9 to raise your hand and *6 and *6 will unmute and mute your line. The other thing is before you ask your questions, I would request that you state what your name is and your affiliation prior to your questions or comments. At this time, the first one that I see with their hand raised is Patrick Martin.
Hi, Stacy. Can you hear me?
Hey, yes. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. So this is Patrick Martin from Miami-Dade Water and Sewer Department. Question, Stacy. So I was at a AWWA, American Water Works Association conference in December, and there was a representative from DEP who spoke, and she was talking about grant funding from DEP for water conservation projects. And it was general, kind of a general discussion, but she did say there was more of a focus on outdoor water conservation projects versus indoor, which would be the fixtures. And I was wondering, is that something that I should take into consideration when I'm applying for grant funding? Is there a better chance that outdoor projects would be funded versus indoor? Based on what she had mentioned at that conference.
Yes. So
Okay.
for the FY26 projects that we submitted forward, the 2 outdoor highest ranked projects, which Miami-Dade was one of those, was for their outdoor landscape irrigation. And the other two projects were for retrofitting entire apartment buildings. So that's where we're getting those higher return on investment, higher bang for our buck, so to speak, whether it's,
Okay.
taxpayer money that those outdoor projects are saving anywhere from 10 million gallons a year to 50+ million gallons a year versus potentially an HET rebate program that's saving 1 to 3 million gallons a year.
Okay. So I should keep that in mind when I'm applying for funding. So if, for example, like I know my outdoor irrigation, I do save a lot of water. Indoor, obviously not so much, but is there kind of like a criteria I should keep in mind for projected water savings on an indoor fixture replacement? And if I don't exceed that, when I do my calculation, not submit the grant?
I wouldn't say that. I would say submit your applications. Again, no application is guaranteed to get funding any given year. But if you're going to submit multiple projects, kind of like what I do with some other some of the AWS projects when they submit multiple applications, we always ask the utility or the applicant to provide us like a prioritization list. What's their preference? So if your preference is that you want to see that outdoor irrigation project funded over your HET rebate, those are types of things that we would take into consideration during the review process.
Okay. Okay, that's great. Thank you. And the other question I have is, Ibel had mentioned that the types of water conservation projects that could be funded, and one that was interesting was the advanced meter analytics software or an online customer portal that's related to water conservation. And then he also had other water use efficiency measures. Is there, and you don't have to answer this question now, but can I find out what the district would consider an other water use efficiency measure?
That is a great question. We will have to discuss that with you offline.
Yeah, and the reason why I'm asking is it's possible I may be doing something that I don't even realize may be eligible for grant funding, and maybe it would be captured under that category. And that's the reason why I'm asking about it.
Absolutely. So if you just want to send me a couple dates and times, and we can talk about some of the stuff that your
Okay.
program's doing and what you might be eligible to apply for.
Okay, I will do.
Happy to do that.
All righty, thank you.
Okay. Thanks, Patrick. And my apologies if I mispronounce the next person that's hands raised. The last name is Newell.
Hi, can you hear us?
Stacy?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, this is Quinn Newell. I'm here with my team, Alyssa and Brian. And we have a question on the application regarding the phase capacity within 1 to 2 years.
Yes.
Yeah, we're looking at an RO facility, and within the next 1 to 2 years, we're going to be doing concentrate wells. So that's what this application focuses on. So should that number be the capacity of the concentrate wells, or are you looking for the capacity of the plant?
What is the actual facility?
So for the application that we're looking to submit is for the concentrate wells, the injection wells. And then later on, we're going to be doing the RO facility. There's no existing RO facility at the moment.
It's OUC Southeast.
Oh, go ahead. Yes, Alyssa.
Southeast Water Treatment Plant.
Okay, I thought when you said Alyssa, I was like, I'm pretty sure I know which facility this is, but I just need to
I'm here.
Yeah.
Oh,
She said she'd worked with you in the past.
Yeah.
Yes. So you already did the first test production well. And now you're going to be doing, so it's all tied to the same project. So one of the things that I would do is go back and look at the old agreement and
Okay.
use that name and like put phase whatever. I don't know if we called it phase 1 or what we called it. And I can work with you on that offline, but call it phase whatever dash concentrate disposal wells, because it's ultimately going to be part of the Southeast RO facility. And also when you're further in the application, also include the CFWI Appendix E.
I think we did do that. Yeah, that's in there.
Okay, so make sure you have that in there, because I think that one was originally in the 2015 plan and it's been carried forward in the last 2 plans. So just make sure you're tying it back to the water supply plan as well. And when you're for this particular project, you would want to identify the funding that you already received for the production well that we did a couple years ago.
Cool.
All right.
Yeah.
And what was the other question?
So, so that question was for the phase.
Yeah, and then keep on those on one. Another model.
No, so that for the phase capacity, I guess was that answered in terms of capacity?
She said to go back and look at our previous
Okay.
application.
Yeah, and I can work on that with you guys offline as well. Just again,
Okay,
just like when I
Thank
offered
you.
with Patrick, just send me some dates and times, and we'll be happy to set up a quick Teams call and go over it with you.
Thank you.
yeah,
You're
thank
welcome.
you. We'll do that, Stacy. Thank you.
All right, thank you. The next one we have is Gigi Jones. Gigi, I think you're still on mute. You were off mute for like a second.
How about now?
Now, there we go.
Okay, good. Hi, Stacy. Good afternoon, everyone. My question is regarding the actual application. The tabs project readiness and let's see. Oh, no, that's not the one. Give me a sec. Okay, project figure 2 and project figure 1 tabs. They are protected and will not allow us to insert anything
Okay.
or paste anything.
Okay, I will check that and I will get those unprotected and we will re-upload them to the website. But you can always send those to me. The figures you can send to me separately if you needed to, especially given if they're really large. I've had people
Okay.
that after they've uploaded you would still have to upload through the portal with your application, just minus the figures if I can't get that unprotected. And then you could always email the figures to me.
Okay, sounds good.
But I'm
Thank
going
you,
to work on
Stacy.
that after this.
Okay, thank you.
Do we have any other questions or comments at this time? All right, I'm not seeing any more hands raised. So I want to thank everybody for their time and attention this afternoon. As always, you're more than welcome to reach out to us directly. We're happy to set up any Teams calls, meetings to discuss anything project specific that you would like to discuss. Other than that, this webinar link will be posted later on the CFP website. You'll also be able to find it at the conclusion of today's meeting on SFWMD TV. And thank you and have a wonderful